My Chitti is here, my mother's youngest sister. Chinni Mahalakshmi Subhash is here, and I want to thank her.
So now you black. Now you black, Kamala. Yeah, right. See, you think we boo-boo the foo-foo. We're not boo-boo the foo-foo.
You all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
That is the black scent that all of these politicians bring out every 4 years when they want to go talk to the black folks.
Harris has always been a contentious figure, but has she truly lost the black vote this time? From misleading assertions about her heritage to dubious rumors about her taste in music, it seems as though she is falling apart right before our very eyes. Is Harris truly black, or is she just acting the part? Why does she feel the need to fabricate her identity?
You all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
That is the black scent that all of these politicians bring out every 4 years when they want to go talk to the black folks.
And was the commercial featuring Taji P. Henson sincere, or merely another ploy to come across as relatable?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. There is so much at stake in this moment. The majority of us believe in freedom and equality. But these extremists, as they say, they not like us.
How can she stumble over something as easy as stating who her favorite living rapper is?
Best rapper alive.
Tupac.
He's not. You say he lives on.
Not a lot. I know. I keep doing that.
Let's not forget the allegations regarding her husband's infidelity scandals. How does this affect her political image? Is her public persona simply a series of skillfully constructed lies? Are black voters seeing through the facade? What are the true causes of Kamala Harris's estrangement from the black community? Although her ascent to the U.S. vice presidency was historic, her relationship with the black community has always been complicated. Despite being the first female vice president and the first person of black and South Asian descent, many believe that her attempts to engage with black voters are, at best, cynical. One of the most prominent disputes concerns her assertions regarding her ancestry.
My Chitti is here, my mother's youngest sister. Chinni Mahalakshmi Subhash is here, and I want to thank her.
So now you black. Now you black, Kamala. Yeah, right. See, you think we boo-boo the foo-foo. We're not boo-boo the foo-foo.
Critics argue that Kamala strategically emphasizes her black heritage when it's politically convenient while downplaying her Indian background. Remember when Kamala claimed to have listened to Tupac and Snoop Dogg during her college years? The only problem, neither artist had released any music when she was in college. This gaffe wasn't just a misstep, it seemed like a calculated attempt to relate to black voters through shared cultural touchstones. But does Kamala really understand the culture she's trying to connect with, or is she just saying what she thinks people want to hear? For context, during a 2019 appearance on The Breakfast Club, co-host Charlamagne Tha God asked Harris about claims that she was not African American simply because her parents were immigrants. So I was born in Oakland and raised in the United States except for the years that I was in high school in Montreal, Canada. Harris replied, and look, this is the same thing they did to Barack Obama. This is not new to us, and so I think that we know what they are trying to do. As for being black, she put it plainly, I'm black, and I'm proud of being black. I was born black, I will die black, and I'm not going to make excuses for anybody because they don't understand the reason. Several people seem to have a hard time believing her story is that she's made a lot of revelations about herself by herself, which many black people seem to believe implies that she's not one of them. For starters, there was the time in that same interview she mentioned how she'd spoken about WAT through laughter, and a casual interview on a morning radio show on Manda. Kamala Harris clarified her support for the legalization of weed and took it one step further, telling the host she smoked in her college days. And yes, she said she inhaled. Have you ever smoked? Charlamagne Tha God asked Harris, the then senator from California and 2020 presidential candidate. I have, and I inhaled. I did inhale, she responded with laughter, making a joke about former President Bill Clinton's claim while he was running for president that he had smoked the drug while at graduate school at Oxford, but didn't like it and never inhaled.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like in
And
college,
I inhaled. I did inhale. It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. But yes, she said, laughing alongside co-host DJ Envy and Charlemagne. Harris, a former Attorney General of California, also refuted reports that she opposes legalizing marijuana, saying that it brings joy to many people and that we need more joy. However, there was one part of that interview in which Harris talked about her MJ antics that seemed to convince people that she might not be telling the truth. She said that she smoked in college and that she listened to Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur while high.
What were you listening to when you was high? What was on? What song was?
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, definitely Snoop. Tupac.
The issue is that while Harris graduated from Howard in 1986 and from law school in 1989, Tupac's career did not take off until the early 1990s, when he made his debut in the same song from the 1991 film Nothing But Trouble on Digital Underground. Snoop Dogg, then known as Snoop Doggy Dogg, did not begin his career until 1992.
What Kamala Harris did was a little bit more than irritating, right? Because remember, this is the same woman who prosecuted tens of thousands of black people for smoking marijuana.
So either Harris was baked enough to time travel, or she hit the bong after being in school not cool for a candidate whose slogan is speaking truth, demand, injustice. Most likely many believe she's just trying to curate a playlist that sends the right message, but lying for it is where people have a problem. Suffice it to say, many people weren't buying the Foresight story, but there were still those who came to her defense, like this user who wrote, Justin. FYI to anyone reading this in context, she's answering the original question asked of her of Babak what music she listens to, and she is ignoring the question about smoking W in college. This explains why she also includes Cardi B in the list. Even if this user was right, that was not the only detail that came out about her trying to pander to the African American community. In fact, the other report that came out confirmed to several members of the community that she wasn't one of them at the time the headline literally said she attended an HBCU to be immersed in black culture. In the 1980s, Harris attended Howard University in Washington, D.C., and she found that the experience of going to historically black colleges and universities proved particularly important when it came to feeling connected to the community. In 2019, she told the Washington Post, when you're at an HBCU, and especially one with the size and with the history of Howard University, and also in the context of also being in D.C., which was known forever as being Chocolate City, it just becomes about you understanding that there is a whole world of people who are like you. It's not just about there are a few of us who may find each other. To several people, if she had to go to a predominantly black university to get the African American experience, then she probably isn't one at heart. But this isn't a new tactic for Harris. Throughout her career, she's often found herself at odds with her own narrative. While serving as California's Attorney General, she earned a reputation as a tough-on-crime prosecutor, a stance that doesn't align with the progressive ideals she now claims to champion.
Before I was elected as vice president, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was the elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, of California. Before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor.
One of the most criticized aspects of Harris's career as district attorney was her aggressive stance on truancy. Harris introduced a policy that prosecuted parents of chronically truant children, arguing that regular school attendance was crucial for a child's future success, while the intention behind the policy was to ensure children stayed in school. It resulted in punitive measures against families, many of whom were struggling with systemic issues such as poverty, racism, and lack of access to resources. Critics argue that instead of addressing the root causes of truancy, this policy further criminalized already vulnerable families. Harris also faced criticism for her support of California's 3 strikes law, which mandated life sentences for individuals convicted of 3 serious offenses. Critics argue that this law disproportionately affected Black and Latino communities, leading to mass incarceration and breaking up families. The perception that Harris supported such a harsh policy has lingered, fueling skepticism about her commitment to criminal justice reform as Attorney General of California. Harris continued to implement policies that drew criticism from civil rights advocates. Her tenure from 2011 to 2017 included decisions and policies that, while intended to uphold the law, often resulted in adverse outcomes for Black communities despite increasing public outcry against police brutality and the need for reform. Harris was perceived as not doing enough to address these issues. She faced criticism for not supporting statewide initiatives to mandate body cameras for police officers or to appoint special prosecutors to investigate police shootings. Another controversial stance was her office's fight to preserve the state's right to use prison labor, arguing that it was necessary for maintaining the state's workforce. This stance drew significant backlash as it was seen as perpetuating a system that exploited incarcerated individuals, many of whom were Black. Critics saw this as an endorsement of modern-day slavery, further deepening distrust among those who had already suffered under the criminal justice system. The Black community has experienced systemic injustices from the police and judicial system for generations. Harris' record as a prosecutor is seen by many as part of this system, raising doubts about her ability to champion the changes needed to address these deep-seated issues. There is a significant trust deficit between the Black community and Kamala Harris. Due to her prosecutorial past, many view her policies as having contributed to the mass incarceration and criminalization of Black individuals rather than addressing the root causes of crime such as poverty and lack of education. Her record as a prosecutor has been criticized for its harshness and lack of empathy toward marginalized communities, particularly Black Americans. This has led to accusations that Kamala is trying to rewrite her history to fit a more appealing narrative. What's more, there have been accusations that Kamala allegedly slept her way to the top.